You know that one person who, no matter what you say to help, finds a way to shout back at you like you just insulted their entire bloodline? That person who treats good advice like a personal attack? Yeah, meet Lisa. She's what happens when you mix rebellion, trauma, and a South African art scene into one chaotic cocktail. And I mean chaotic in the most artistically tragic way.
Once you see the real me, you are gonna run for the hills.
Lisa is the main character in a short story that had me flipping pages like I was waiting for someone to scream plot twist. But what I got instead was raw pain, real healing, and padlocked panties. Yep, you heard me. Padlocked. Panties. But more on that in a bit. So buckle in, because today we're diving into a dark, bold, and brutally honest story about pain, blame, and the long, winding road to something that almost looks like peace. Lisa is complicated. At 14, she lost her virginity. At 18, she had an abortion. Somewhere between the messiness of youth and the confusion of becoming a woman, she was drugged and raped by a man she couldn't even identify. Now, you might think such a horrific experience would earn her a little grace. But Lisa doesn't do healing the normal way. Instead, she does what many teenagers do best. She blames her mother. Because of course, who better to blame than the woman who raised you, fed you, and dared to give you advice? Lisa saw her mother not as someone who tried, but as someone who failed.
Oh, snap.
And so she did what many bold but broken teens do. She packed up her grief, her anger, and her unresolved trauma, and moved out to live on her own. Independent, free, a total mess. She enrolled in design school, and this is where things took a turn from tragedy to something much weirder. Now, let me read you this, because there's no way I'm paraphrasing this madness.
For lingerie assignment, Lisa designed padlocked panties and bras, which would be made of a type of material which flattened the chest and hips to hide all feminine features. She had all the models wear masks from horror movies, with all the outfits sewn up with a technique that made them look torn and the material was dyed to look bloody.
If that doesn't scream, I've got trauma and I'm making it fashion, I don't know what does. Needless to say, the design school wasn't impressed. She failed all her design courses, but, silver lining, she passed the sewing ones. Which means if you ever need someone to sew up your horror movie wardrobe, Lisa's your girl. So Lisa then meets Hennie. He's a white painter. Quiet, moody, and honestly a full-time artist, but maybe a part-time vibe killer. They meet at a gallery where Lisa works, and let's just say it wasn't love at first sight for anyone. Except Lisa. She sees something in Hennie. Something real, something maybe even safe. Unfortunately, their friends did not get the memo. Lisa's black friends think Hennie is a sad, pessimistic sloth of a man. According to them, she only loves him because he's white. You know, because apparently interracial love has to come with a manual and a motive. Hennie's white friends? Even worse. They treat Lisa like she's from another planet, a different species. The casual racism? Not so casual. It cuts deep. And Lisa, tired of being the exotic token at every party, decides she's done attending their events. Just like that. Boundaries. A rare Lisa win. Despite the storm around them, Lisa and Hennie stay together. They argue, they clash, but it's love. Not perfect love, not even healthy all the time, but it's theirs, and that's something. Lisa's the one holding things together, literally. She works 2 jobs while Hennie moans about how uninspired he feels. But she loves him enough to let him move in and focus on his painting full time. That's what you do when you love someone, right? Or when you're desperate for something stable, even if that something comes with a side of white guilt and artistic depression. This turbulent, gritty, and weirdly hopeful tale is called Almost Cured of Sadness. Yep, almost. Not cured, not healed, just almost. And honestly, that almost is where the story lives. In that gray area between broken and whole, in that tension between what could have been and what still might be. What hit me the hardest about this story is how unapologetically it stares trauma in the face. Lisa is not a likable character. And that's the point. She's messy, she's angry, she makes terrible decisions. But she's also a survivor, a fighter. A woman who's been dealt every bad hand in the deck and still dares to wake up, stitch her life back together, one bloody design at a time. Her relationship with Hennie is both touching and tragic. On one hand, they understand each other in ways no one else seems to. On the other hand, they are products of different worlds, and that gap of race, of privilege, of pain shows constantly. The racism Lisa faces is casual, persistent, and dehumanizing, and she feels it. She reacts to it, but she never lets it define her. She builds her life around what she can control. She lets Hennie in, she lets him stay. Maybe because he's broken too. Maybe because their messes overlap. Maybe because, for once, she wants to choose the chaos instead of having it forced on her. There's no grand redemption here, no magical healing, no design school breakthrough. Lisa is still wounded, still angry, still haunted by a mother she hates for reasons even she probably doesn't fully understand. But here's what the story does so brilliantly. It lets Lisa be. It doesn't save her. It doesn't pity her. It just shows her trying, failing, loving, stitching, crying, and almost getting it right. The writer behind this bold and unsettling story is a South African artist and writer based in Johannesburg. A keen observer of urban cultures, their work is rooted in fiction, content development, and storytelling that captures the raw essence of modern life in South Africa. They're working on a collection of short stories focused on urban themes, and we're in search of a capable publisher. So if you know anyone looking to invest in raw, unfiltered literary talent, you might want to point them this way. Their writing isn't about neat endings or polished characters. It's about people like Lisa, people who stumble, fall, and still get up, even if it's just to take one more step. So if you're looking for a feel-good story, this ain't it. But if you're looking for something real, something raw, painful, and weirdly poetic, Almost Cured of Sadness might just be what you need. It's not about fixing Lisa. It's about watching her stitch her life back together with bloody fabric and stubborn hope. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. Thanks for watching. If you've read the story, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't, you should check it out. It's part of the Kane Prize for African Writing 2010 anthology, A Life in Full and Other Stories. Until next time, stay curious, and maybe keep your lingerie design ideas less apocalyptic. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.